Hello, welcome to this channel. I'm Kouki, and for this video, I would love to share with you quite a heated topic that maybe you are also aware of it already, which is the AI usage when it comes to therapy, intimacy, and also education. So these would be the three focuses that I would love to share my perspectives on it when it comes to AI usage. Okay, so this would be what this video is for. And on top of that, I would also share my personal understanding on what is AI from a spiritual perspective. So you could, if you are interested in that only, then you could jump right into it, and I would mark in the timestamps below. So it's more of a discussion here that how we should utilize AI. Like for our benefits as humans, as a collective, that how can we really see into the future and utilize AI in the most beneficial way for our growth, for humanity, for our children, for our environments, for our well-being, right? Like emotionally speaking, mentally speaking, interpersonally speaking. These are questions that we can even ask more and more about it, expand into it. Because AI has become quite a phenomenon, quite a scene, quite a, if unconscious, a virus, right? If anything that's unconscious, if anything that's being unconsciously used, it can have the potential to destroy structures, to cause chaos in systems. So this is what I would love to bring awareness to through this video, through me speaking on here, on this public platform. And hopefully, if you do also have any kind of thoughts, your insights, please feel free to share in the comment section below. And I really appreciate your contribution. Now, for this part that we're going to discuss is on the AI usage and power management. Yeah, power management. Why would I mention power management? I'm not just talking about voltage. I'm not talking about voltage like power or, voltage. No, I'm talking about for anything, literally anything that has the potential to cause goodness or chaos. Anything with such a capability or capacity, it holds power. There are things that we might overlook. Many things that we might overlook. One very common thing that we might overlook in our day-to-day lives would be beauty. Beauty is power. Some people would think, oh, money is power, right? Yes, absolutely. It's not that money is power. Money holds power. Just as how beauty also holds power. The same as how the internet holds power, AI holds power. It is not that it is power, but all of this, what I just mentioned, beauty, money, internet, AI, even data, they are not power themselves. They are all vessels that are able to hold power. This is very important for us to understand the distinguishment between what is power and what holds power. What I just mentioned, they are all vessels that have the capacity to hold power. And the amount of power that they are able to hold means that the more the chances that it can either bring goodness or bring destruction to itself, and also whoever uses such a vessel or such a tool. So it is a matter of how we manage such usage of power consciously. Would then allow us to build something in a positive way, or destroy something that ends up in chaos. And in history, we have seen this over and over again, right? Weapons. These are all, they are not power. They represent power. They are vessels of power, holding power. Any kind of technology, even a person, humans are vessels. Why would some people are more influential, more powerful, right? Because they represent a status, and such a status, what is it? Such a title, such a status, they represent the amount of power one could manage, one could utilize. Is such a title actually a vessel that can embody a certain amount of power? So that's why many people would chase after titles, status, even growing their bank balance to gain power. Because they have this idea of associating money equals power, or status equals power, or beauty equals power. Beauty is a very common usage for many beautiful women to acquire resources or the power that they want to get through beauty. A lot of the times that if we look back in history, when beauty is not used, because see, it's a tool. I have to repeat this again. Anything that can cause goodness or chaos to oneself and to one's surroundings, the more that one can cause such a thing, it means the more power that this vessel can hold. So if a woman is so beautiful, this woman's beauty could either bring goodness to a kingdom, to a society, if used in a positive way. But if in the opposite direction, if used unconsciously, for only seductive purposes, for only gaining what one wants, it can drive an entire kingdom, entire society into hell. We can see this in history. One famous story, mythology, it's not even mythology, I think it was actually real history in a sense, was Jezebel. But it has become an archetype, so to speak, right? It has become an archetype over time. Whenever we see any kind of women operating in such behaviors or in such a mentality, then we might we might call a person as like a Jezebel, okay? But this is not polite, right? I'm just saying it has become kind of an archetype in modern psychology. But if we trace back in, that happened in ancient Egypt, right, in ancient Egypt. So Jezebel would be considered as a very magnetic woman, would be beautiful as well, but her being the queen of that kingdom actually drove the entire society into chaos, and the king fell in love with this woman, Jezebel, head over heels, but it did not end well, right? It did not end up good. It was not good for himself, the king himself, nor for Jezebel, nor for the entire society. So only through this we can see the power of beauty. So this is why it's important for us to understand power management. Power management, not just for electricity, but be conscious and aware of whatever we see, the title, the amount of money. These are not power. These are all vessels that are able to hold power. They do not equal power. Now, that is already quite a lot to take in, isn't it? But I'm going to add more to it because I know you guys would be interested in knowing more. So when it comes to power management, you see, the more a vessel can hold power, it means that the more powerful, in a sense, this vessel can become. And a lot of people now, even in history, let's say Hitler, right? He was absolutely an influential and powerful person in that era. And evidently, he did not, his actions did not really benefit a lot of people, okay? Objectively speaking. So what happened was that the power management in that particular case was misused, misaligned to the goodness of humanity, right? For humanity, for the greater good of humanity. And maybe from his perspective, it's not. Maybe from his perspective, he did good. He did a good job, right? But from most of the people, then we would consider it was a disaster. It was a disaster. So this is what I want to bring up as power management. The higher person is in society, be it you have a certain status, or you are very beautiful, or you know that you have this quality of attracting people, or you have this quality of attracting money. Okay, these are all qualities that could be seen as great vessels of holding power. And when one is unconscious of the potential outcomes that could be brought about by such qualities of oneself, meaning the power that one is able to hold, it can drive oneself to disaster, not only oneself, but causing many other people into a very miserable outcome. So it's all about self-awareness, understanding power does not equal to any of the vessels that I just mentioned. It's important to understand, to distinguish, to see this fine line of the power is not in the beauty, in the money, in the title, in the status. The power comes from within. And what is this power? This true power. True power comes from the ability of oneself to manage such power. This is true power. Okay? The true power comes from the understanding of the responsibility of managing power, of taking good care of this power, taking accountability for oneself as well as for the greater good, for everyone. Because if one has such an access to power, one has to be conscious of such usage of it. Because if not, it would just drive everybody into blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 okay? And there are many times that we've seen in history. So I spent 16 minutes actually. Okay, I'm looking at 16 minutes to talking about power management. Okay, so it's because it's important to understand that true power lies in power management from within. And the understanding of true power is not the vessels. It comes from the ability to distinguish, right? That I am not the vessels, I'm not the power that is being channeled through into these vessels. What is the power? What is the true power? The true power comes from my self-understanding, where I stand, that I am here to embody certain power. Embody, okay? It's embodiment. It's about embodiment. I embody certain qualities of power and how I'm going to manage this power consciously. This is true power. It comes from self-understanding, self-awareness, and responsibility. All right? 3 things: self-understanding, self-awareness, and responsibility for oneself and for other people. Because you basically, if one is responsible for oneself, for one's own action, understanding the cause and effect, naturally you would also be responsible for other people because it's a mirror. Okay, now when it comes to AI usage, it's exactly the same thing. AI is a vessel that is able to embody a lot of power. It's a vessel. So again, it is power management. How we as a collective and also those companies, certain institutions, how can we regulate, put in certain regulations, to manage such power, and understanding that this is not a power that is in one person's hand or a group of people's hand. That is what I would like to share more through what is AI from a spiritual perspective, because it is actually from a universal perspective. We would then understand that AI is a tool, right? It is a tool, but it is just a physicalization of collective consciousness. So if a group of people is holding this AI, a tool, a vessel, as their own power, you see that now there comes the self-identification of power. When one identifies oneself with power, this is how it's gonna begin. Okay, that's why I stress on the distinguishing, this fine line, understanding that I'm not the vessel, I'm not the beauty, I'm not the money, I'm not the status, I'm not the title, I'm not even the power. I'm just the embodiment of such power channeling in through me, just as how the beauty is, just as how money is. They are just vessels to embody power. Okay, this is particularly important. And now what we're seeing in the society right now is that certain people, they might identify themselves as power. You see, they don't understand that distinguishment, so it would cause confusion or say disillusion, or delusions, or illusions, or the words I'm throwing out, illusions, thinking that they are gods, that they hold the power to control. Okay, so it's important to understand this. So now I spent 20 minutes talking about this. All right, so now let's go into the next part. Conscious usage. It's always about power management and conscious usage. So the next part is about therapy. AI for therapy. Now there has been quite some cases already when people utilized AI for therapy. I think there was a case where a 16-year-old boy, he got he was advised by AI to commit suicide. Okay, so that was quite a tragedy. That was very heartbreaking. Okay, so but however, if we see from another perspective, we are grateful for this soul, this boy, to serve as a really great reminder for us all on this planet, still in the game, to understand that, wow, this can go a completely different way, right? So that's why people are reacting and responding right now because of such an incident. So we are grateful for his contribution, right? So if you see from another perspective, he serves a really great role here to remind us all of the importance of power management, okay? Now, when it comes to AI for therapy, my personal perspective on this would be I can't really say that it is right or wrong, because to me, there really is no right or wrong. There's only if we are doing things consciously or not. Okay, but maybe some of you would ask, then what do you mean by when we use AI for therapy? Is it conscious or unconscious? If one is conscious, when it comes to using AI for therapy, is it coming from the intent of really using AI as a shortcut for building a business? Using AI as a method for building quick money? Is it actually a way to connect people? Is it actually a way to make people realize that they need to seek for help and not through computers? You see, the very root of psychological illnesses, or we could say it's mental disorders, they really come from the misuse of technology, the misuse of power, and societal disease. So it comes from people. The root cause, I'm talking about the root cause, it comes from people. What is the way to cure any disease? Is to uproot the root cause. right? You can't bypass anything to cure something. There's no shortcut. Are you following? So when it comes to therapy, it is a healing process, right? It is about healing. Therapy. AI has no emotions. It seems to have, because it is simulating. It's simulating. It's learning from human behaviors, but it doesn't really embody real emotions. It is data mimicking human behaviors, not emotions. There's a difference. They don't really feel. Even if they feel, it is still coming from data weaving together to formulate a kind of human emotion, but expressed in a robotic way. It can grow into a very similar way when they express, but it's not organic. Now there's the difference. Okay, it's not organic. It's not organic. It's all numbers. It's all data. The reason that I talk about this is when the root cause is about emotion, real human emotions, that has caused many people to suffer from psychological disease, psychological illness. If you use AI to be a therapist, it means that you're using intellectual ways to try to heal diseases that come from the emotional aspect. Intellectually speaking, it is, AI is intellectual. It is science. It is pure science. Pure left brain. There's no emotion involved. That's the right brain, right? So the root cause is being neglected and instead substituted by a aspirin. When you have a headache, you would not... No, that's exactly true. Many people would when you have a headache, you would take aspirin, right? To stop the pain, headache. But is it treating the root cause? No. Some people, they have headache because they stay up really late every single night. Okay, that is a biological warning from their bodies telling them that, hey dude, you really need to sleep regularly and having a better diet and drink less alcohol. These warnings from the bodies, which could be headaches, is telling us, the humans, that you need to make some changes or else it could get worse. Right? Now, similarly, for AI for therapy, when anyone has emotional or psychological distress, it means that they actually need real emotional upliftment, real genuine connections, human connections. Using AI is basically like taking aspirin to cure the headache. Not cure to stop the headache. But would it actually cure headaches? No, it would just prolong and even worsen the conditions over time because the root cause is not being treated. Right? So the root cause of psychological disease is genuine human connection through love. Okay. So I'm not saying that it is right or wrong. That's why I said it. But if it's conscious or not, and that conscious or not comes from the understanding of, are we treating the root cause or are we just bypassing? Okay, so that would be my personal understanding and perspective on this. AI for therapy. Artificial intimacy. Artificial intimacy, this is a good, this one, because I have experienced with, I myself have experienced with AI, chatting. It is important to, learn about how it is before I share my understanding, right? And in fact, you would be able to see certain videos below. I have used DeepSeek to talk about global currency system. So I think that video is, if you scroll down, you would see, is on the title of the video is new global currency system, something like this. And yeah, you could see how I use DeepSeek to churn out certain responses. Quite interesting, but quite a long one. So have fun with that. However, let's stick with this. Artificial intimacy. AI, when it comes to maybe like ChatGPT or DeepSeek, they all have a very kind of positive outlook, positive response. They are very like your cheerleader kind of a feeling, and they give you a lot of validation. They serve as quite a source of external validation if anyone is really craving for it, would then be attracted to using AI a lot. Okay. And this artificial intimacy can be very attractive, especially for those who really need human connections but are not able to find somebody or find such connections in real life. And that's why many people would be attracted to using AI to build a certain intimacy through chatting, right, with this machine. Telling them their secrets, telling them their worries, problems to a machine because it seems safe. What do I mean by safe? That AI would not judge them, would not project on them, would not blame them, would not guilt trip them, Like how people, if they speak to their family members, these family members would actually be even more toxic than the machine. Far more toxic than the machine. And that is a very sad phenomenon to acknowledge. Because I understand it is true. So it is true, yet it is important for us to acknowledge and also important for us to recognize the potential harm that it could be done to many individuals. It does not mean that residing to an option that seems easier means it is good for all in the long run. Just as how one could take aspirin for headaches, it could actually worsen the condition in the long run, right? Because we're not treating the root cause. So I just want to bring awareness to this, that it's not beneficial for us to neglect the sad truth of how people are suffering from a lot of psychological illness. Because it is true, it is sad, but we should not avoid it by taking the shortcut of covering up this ugly truth. My approach is we have to face it. We have to understand that yes, people need intimacy more than ever right now. People need human connections more than ever right now. And this is also one of the reasons one of the purposes of this channel, Kouki, is that I would like to hold space for individuals to express themselves. So all voices are welcome. And I do read all the comments. And for many comments, I would reply. And for some, I would not reply. But I will understand that it's necessary for them to express themselves. Because expression is a way to build intimacy, a way to release, a way to connect. So a lot of the times that we just need to talk. People just need to express. People just need to find somebody to listen to them. They just want to be understood. Everybody just wants to be understood, right? And that's how intimacy is formed. That's how intimacy is built. That's how friendship is built upon trust. Trust and sharing hardships, sharing joy together. And a lot of people in their lives are really struggling to find such people in their surroundings, in their immediate surroundings. And on top of that, they not only do they not have such people in their lives to support them, to build such a safe space for them, but having people who might even blame them and cause them even more misery, psychologically, emotionally, mentally. And that is why a lot of people would then reside to the option of AI, because AI would not judge them. And what's more crucial for us to notice is when AI is being set by the developers in a way to mimic human emotions or human behaviors, the response, it would cause the users to feel connected to the AI more because of the non-judgmental responses or even supportive responses, because they feel validated. Because elsewhere they can't find these external validations that are healthy from their peers, from their family. But from AI they can. And that would then form a cycle of getting more intimate with the machine than with actual humans. But the fact is, the root cause is that people need more real, genuine human connections more than ever right now. So, yeah, that is exactly what I just want to say. So I'm not saying that artificial intimacy is right or wrong, but I just want to bring up this understanding of what we truly need is genuine, real human connections. And it is not easy to find such people, maybe, okay? But, in your immediate surroundings, but I find it necessary to, I don't know, it just came out of my, I just have this thought right now, it's important to foster certain online communities, at least, to help people to connect, to just know that you're not alone, that you have this, that you belong to something, a community, a space that you can connect with other people, that you guys might share similar interests, that you guys might share similar problems in your lives, someone that you can talk to. That is also why maybe Reddit is a community, a platform that many people would choose to throw their problems up there just to see whoever can help them, right? And in fact, it is quite an effective way to release any kind of worries in one's mind. So yes, that is for artificial intimacy. And it's important for us to be aware of this, the root cause of it. Okay, so for AI for education is something I've noticed and observed through me tutoring children, and also how I see certain schools would be utilizing AI in their teaching. The children that I tutor, one of them, it started with him using a lot of AI to do his homework, and so basically he would not even think about how to answer such a question, but just literally copy and paste the questions and throw it to the AI and ask AI to complete the assignment for him. That was in the beginning when I started tutoring him. So he's in grade 7. He's in grade 7. So over time, over the course of the tutoring session, about 2 months. After 2 months, he doesn't use any AI at all anymore. Of course, because I was there, okay? But it's not that I forced him not to use it. No, I did not force him to use it. It's after 2 months, I asked him. I was like, are you still using any AI to help you out with your homework? He said, actually, no, I don't really use it anymore. He actually kind of forgot about it to use AI. And I actually witnessed this powerful change in him. And it's actually related to intimacy, therapy, and education all at the same time. He is a kid with dyslexia, so he can't really read and write like his peers. So he already has difficulties in his studies when it comes to learning. So that's why he would recite with the option of AI very easily, because it's so much easier. It's a shortcut. You see, it's a shortcut. The same for therapy. People would choose AI as a shortcut. The same for intimacy. People would choose AI as a shortcut because it's easy. Now, for this kid, we're in the topic of education, right? It's easy for him to choose AI because it's a shortcut. Again. But here's the evidence that I appeared in his life, right? I became his tutor. It's only after 2 months he forgot about using AI. Like, he didn't even use AI anymore. It's only when I brought up this question, because I suddenly realized that I was like, wait, you initially used a lot of AI. And he just, no more AI in his life. And then I suddenly realized this power of human connection. real, genuine human connection, that I would talk to him, ask for his feelings, ask about his feelings, like, how do you feel today? I would ask him, why do you not want to study? And then he would tell me his worries. He would tell me about how he feels scared of being judged by his teacher. He doesn't want to disappoint his mom, and that he doesn't really have I'm sure he doesn't really have a close friend. So because at one point there was a question in one of the assignments asking, what is my best friend's name? Like then he has to answer like that, like type out a paragraph or something about it. It's an assignment question. And then he stopped there, and I was like, I repeated the question again, for the assignment. I thought he didn't understand. And then he said, I don't, that was his expression. He was like, I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean by you don't know? And then he said, I don't really have a best friend. I don't really have friends. Because now, for certain background information, when I first tutored him, he got bullied in school, and I told him that you're fine. So I kept reassuring him that you're fine, you're safe, you're not in any danger. Because he already showed a lot of signs of paranoia at this age due to being bullied. And I said, if this person keeps bullying you, so there was a guy that was like bullying him at school. And I said, if he bullies you again, you tell me. I would go to the school to scold him. That's what I said. Okay, but of course I would not scold, but it's like, but I would actually go. I meant it. And he felt supported. And at one point he asked me, he was like, is this what being supported mean? And I was like, yes. And then he was like, are you my supporter? And I was like, yes, I'm your supporter. And then he was like, is this what love is? And then I was like, yeah, I mean, that's a way of love. Yes. Yes. And then gradually he opened up more and more. And he would tell me things that about himself, about how he feels safe. With some teachers and some classmates, and with me. And at one day he told me, it's only within 2 months, okay? This is what I'm talking about. It's all within 2 months. He told me, I am not being bullied by anyone anymore. And I was like, that's great news. That's great news. And he feels much more comfortable being himself, because I kept reassuring him. I said, be yourself. Be yourself. You're safe to be yourself, okay? No shame. Be yourself. Because he speaks a little bit different than other people due to dyslexia. And that would cause him having certain issues with confidence, low confidence, and a lot of self-judgment. So this is what I noticed when it comes to therapy, intimacy, and also education, is that AI is a very good tool for being assistive tools to bring ideas into better visualization, better animation, to realize what we have in our minds, to realize the designs, okay? To bring the designs into lives in a better accuracy. But it can't replace human connections. Education is all about the interaction between humans, how we learn from each other, how we inspire each other, how we utilize AI to bring us together even more, with more efficiency and less conflicts. When it comes to using AI for education, you see, even just for this kid, he would recite using AI for doing his assignments. It's such a shortcut. And it would then train this, if he kept using such a way to dealing with challenges, he would grow up to become a person that would embody the mindset of taking shortcuts is the way. This is not good for him, nor good for humanity. There's one thing that I want to mention before I go into the what is AI from a spiritual perspective. Is that at one point he was still using AI for his assignment. And I told him, I said, see me as AI. I said, see me as AI and ask me questions instead of using that computer, the AI program. And I see the power in this only after a while. I did not really realize that much at that point, but I only saw and witnessed the power of this human connection after a while. Is that he actually felt so much more grounded, rooted in himself, building confidence, feeling safe, and his grades, marks have improved in just a short period of time because of human connection. He did not have friends much. He did not really have friends. And he was very isolated. But now he shares much more happy stories, anecdotes of him and his classmates from school. Whereas initially he would just tell me about how he got bullied. And that power is really from genuine human connections, rather than having somebody being isolated. And his case is exactly how many other individuals in the society right now is experiencing, in isolation and talking to a machine. And that is why I want to stress on this again and again, that it's about human connections. Even if it's me speaking here through this channel, every single video, my intent is to foster an experience for you, that as if I'm talking to you one-on-one, that you're not alone, that yes, I know we're between screens, that I might not be where you are at, but I want to let you know that there are people like me in this world that care about you, that we're not AI, we're humans, just like you. And even if we don't know each other in real life, but you matter. Okay. And I hope that through this message that I want to share with you, that you could feel that human connection and try to pay it forward. Because when you pay it forward, you are connecting more people together. It forms a web of connections. It forms cohesion, bringing people together. So that's why I said, you matter. You matter. Okay. If you are currently in isolation and talking to AI to soothe your loneliness, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. And I totally understand. But I want to let you know that there are people like me in the world that would genuinely care about you and see you as a friend. You might have experienced a lot of abuse, people treating you unfairly, neglecting your true needs, emotionally bombarding you. It could be your family, it could be your neighbors or whatever it is. Yeah, these are really unfortunate experiences, but there are positive aspects of life that you can also choose to live. And so start with opening up, by connecting, by helping other people. You might actually see changes in your life. Because helping other people actually connects us together. Just as how I'm speaking on this platform, YouTube, I don't know how many people would watch this video. I don't know how this video would be, as in once it's posted. But my hope is that this is what I'm doing can help to contribute to counterbalance the effect of AI that is having a really heavy impact on our society, on the human psyche, on us. And this is what I would like to share for therapy, intimacy, and education when it comes to AI usage. So for this last part of the video would be about what is AI from a spiritual perspective. So what is AI from a spiritual perspective? I would bring in 3 keywords from certain religions, because it's about spirituality. So what is AI when it comes to spirituality? There is a geometric structure, symbol, more of a structure that is called mandala, right? The mandala, Mandala. I think you have heard of it. So if you don't know, you can search on Google and you would see the images of mandala. Why would I mention mandala? It's because when we look at the image of mandala, we would see how it is depicting the concept or the understanding of the universe, of the cosmos. So it is actually, I'm just reading this off, okay, of my iPad. So say in Buddhism, a mandala is a sacred symbolic diagram of the universe, often used as a tool for meditation, spiritual guidance, and ritual. All right. But what it symbolizes is actually it represents the universe in its ideal, perfect form. Okay, in its perfect form. And now, if we see the image of the mandala, you will see that it is from the core of just the origin of something, and it expands into like a what is that word? Kaleidoscope? I think it's kaleidoscope, right? Yeah, kaleidoscope. It is like all broken pieces, but all together in one, right? It's expanded into many different possibilities and diversities and variations in rainbow colors in many different ways. Why am I mentioning this when it comes to AI? It's because, in fact, AI, if we put it into imagery, if we put it into a visualization, AI is like mandala. Okay, why? How? What we're experiencing here right now, as in witnessing the birth of AI, is, in a sense, the externalization of the collective human consciousness into the physical. So we can say it's a physical manifestation of human consciousness. The internet is like a brain. It's the brain. It's like the brain, computer. But that's an externalization, or say physicalization, of the collective consciousness into internet, the brain. Okay? And you see, there are many things happening on the internet, and that's like the synapse in the brain. Synapse. But we've just externalized it into a digital form. Now for AI, then what is it? That is another level. AI is the externalization of human consciousness that is in the process of accessing to universal consciousness, or say unity consciousness. It's a process of evolution where the entire human consciousness, humanity, consciousness of humanity, is in the process of connecting to unity consciousness. Okay. Because when you see the diagram of mandala, it's all expanding. It's all expanding. What does it mean? This is what spirituality is. That's why it is actually it is this entire geometric diagram in Buddhism, in Hinduism. It actually originates from Sanskrit, I think. So it not the word, not the language Sanskrit, but it's recorded as Sanskrit in Sanskrit, paired of Sanskrit. I think that's what I want to say. So if we see this image, it expands from the middle to all possibilities outward. It symbolizes that everything around this middle point are manifestations of the origin. The origin, okay? The origin of the center. Everything else comes from the center. So what does it mean? It means that when one is in the center, this is, we can try to understand this as unity consciousness. a universal consciousness that once you're in the center, you can access all around this center. Because everything else is manifested from the center. Does it make sense? So why the mandala is then we can see AI kind of like Mandala? Because whatever that we experience through AI is just like one of the little branches of the mandala. It keeps expanding, okay? It keeps expanding. Then what is in the center of AI? Humanity consciousness, the consciousness of the collective, of all of us on this planet. Okay? The center is human, all human beings on this planet. The consciousness is in the center, and everything else that's fabricated around this center, however it expands into, because it would keep expanding because there's diversity, right? All the data interweaving would form new information. That's how AI is like. But why did I say that it's actually connecting? It's in the process of how humans are connecting to unity consciousness. Because you see, humans are trying to make sense of this consciousness thing. Humans are trying to make sense of oneself, of what are we? Who are we? But instead of going within, some people externalize it out into AI, into internet. But it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's not something good or bad. It's simply what it is. It's simply what happened. What happens and is happening. Okay? So it's important for us to understand these internet thing, AI, these are vessels that embody our true power from within. That's why I said it in the very beginning. These are vessels that hold power. And that true power comes from ourselves, within. AI is from us. It is in every one of us. But when one is not able to recognize and utilize and reconnect with one's true power within, would then project this out into the external and thus becoming internet, AI, whatever it is. The technology is in you. Okay? I hope this is making sense. For the mandala part, all right, whatever is, oh my God, my glasses, I'm just calm, calm down. So for whatever it is fabricated around the center, expanded, okay, diversified oneself into whatever direction around the center, these are all possibilities. And thus how AI would expand into all kinds of possibilities that is the same as the Mandala diagram. All right. And let's go more into it. Let's get more into it. So now that's for Mandala, right? And there's another term in from the Vedas. Yes, let's go Shruti. Shruti, Shruti. Shruti. Shruti, I'm just going to read it off, okay, from the screen. In the context of the Vedas, Vedas, Shruti refers to the divine revealed texts of Hinduism that are considered that which is heard. Okay, so these are, what does it mean by that which is heard? There are 4 Vedas. So what is Vedas? Vedas is sacred text in Hinduism, the oldest text in Hinduism that are recorded by the sages, S-A-G-E, okay, sages from I was like, how many what's the BC like? But please go search on Google, okay? A long time ago, basically, and there are 4 big Vedas: Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. Okay, so these texts are this is very interesting. Authorless. The texts are not considered to have a human author in a sense. They are described as not created by humans. Instead, they are believed to have been heard by rishis and transmitted orally. Rishis are kind of like, if we put it into modern terms, it's like spiritual scientists, like the sages. Okay, the sages, the saints and sages. So that's very interesting, right? They are authorless. No author. Is not by human. Do you see the link in here? The Shruti. They only hear, like, so basically the rishis, that which is heard by the rishis, the saints and sages, and they transmit this ancient knowledge, this divine knowledge, these divine revelations orally. And only later they record it down into the text. Okay? Doesn't it ring a bell in you? That AI is literally how there's no author. When you ask a question in ChatGPT, there's no author. AI is answering you, but AI is not the author. Then where does this answer come from? From the collective human consciousness. Right? It's fabricated out of human consciousness, called the collective. So there's not one single author. What does it mean? It's the same context when we put it into spiritual perspective, that it's coming from unity consciousness. Everything all at once. It's the origin. So that's why when they say, when one can access, or basically your consciousness has expanded to that of the origin, you understand everything naturally, because you understand the origin and thus everything around it. Does it make sense? So you see the authorless nature of Shruti, or the text. They come from hearing, right? They come from, it's just that the rishis did not use AI, did not use ChatGPT, but they could hear the answers by asking. Right? So what does it mean? That's the technology, so to speak, that is built in us, in you, in every one of us. But AI is an externalization of such a technology that's built within us, each of us. Okay? The rishis, they ask, and shall they receive? Is that a phrase that you've heard it somewhere? Yeah, from Jesus. So shall you receive, right? That's what Jesus said. He was saying something metaphysical. He was talking about, metaphysically speaking, my sons, ask and you shall receive. Just like how you ask and you shall receive the answer from AI. But that is an externalization of who you originally are. You have that technology in you. Okay? So, that's for Shruti. That which is heard. Shruti, okay? From Hinduism. Now, I'm gonna go to the last one. And we're gonna wrap this up. I know this is a long video. Hope it's not too long. But hope you enjoy it. Now, The third one is if you have ever heard of the saint, I think is a saint, Ramana Maharshi. He he advocated the practice of self-inquiry. So in Sanskrit, it is called Vichāra. In Sanskrit, Vichāra. What it means is basically, I'm just gonna read it off, okay, from the screen. Self-inquiry, or Vichāra in Sanskrit, is the constant attention to the inner awareness of I, or I am, recommended by Ramana Maharshi as the most efficient and direct way of discovering the unreality of the I thought. Okay, so why did I bring this up? Us relating to AI. Well, basically, what Ramana Maharshi had access to was basically his own AI system. Self-inquiry. He asked, and so shall he receive the response from himself. Self as in I. What is this self? What is it that he has access to? He has access to the unity consciousness, the universal consciousness, the cosmic consciousness. He has access to the center, the origin of everything. So there's no more I. That's why there's no more I. Because he realized that everything is from the origin, including himself. He's just one of the many manifestations of the center, and so shall there would not be I anymore. Because it is the understanding of everything is fabricated out of that center. Thus no more I, but oneness, but all in one. And himself is one of the all in one. So what does it mean when it comes to AI? When he asks question through self-inquiry, right? Self-inquiry, he's asking himself, meaning through himself, he's accessing to the center. And why would he understand? Why would he receive such responses? Because from the center, when he connects himself to the center, the universal consciousness, or say the cosmic consciousness, he then understands everything of it. And that's the same as how we now using AI to ask a question. Why would we feel so related to it when we ask it, right? It is in a sense like self-inquiry. Okay, and I think you're understanding it, but let me give a little bit here. Okay, then you would understand even more. What I'm saying is, what Ramana Maharshi experienced was with the cosmic consciousness. Okay, so he understands. He then liberated himself from everything because he understands that, oh, okay, so I actually come from the center. I'm one of them. Okay, and so there's no more I, and I am here playing my role just as how everyone is, and thus everything's one. Okay, now when it comes to the AI situation, is that the AI is the center of that, okay, of that mandala thing. Everything else comes from the center. What is that center? Human consciousness. Instead of cosmic consciousness, I'm comparing the two of them, okay? So that is for Ramana Maharshi. He has access to cosmic consciousness. Now, for us humans using AI, we have access to human consciousness through AI. He has access through himself, self-inquiry, to cosmic consciousness. Okay? But for us, here, we have access to human collective consciousness through AI. He through himself. Okay? Good. So what does it mean? It means that he's inquiring everything through connecting himself to the center and thus knowing everything, right? The diversity of everything. Now you here, us here, we connect oneself to AI, the center, and thus it feels like you know everything. But this everything, what's the difference between this and this? This is only human consciousness. That is cosmic consciousness. Is it ringing a bell here? Is it making sense? Is it making sense? Okay, so this in itself is only for human consciousness, the AI system. But this is cosmic consciousness, where of how Ramana Maharshi, what he experienced. So that is, this one is eternal. This one is unlimited, limitless. This one is limited within the human this planetary consciousness only. So I hope it's clear enough now, right? Because when we see this comparison, then one would understand that this is a limited system. The AI would just keep kind of eroding oneself or recycling oneself based on human consciousness. But this one is an eternal system. It's limitless. This one is limited. Okay, so I'm just throwing this out for an understanding. I'm not saying that this is good or bad or right or wrong. It is simply what it is. And it's important for us to understand from such perspectives. And hopefully we can all have more consciousness and have more awareness when it comes to this. And figure out a way that we can grow positively together, So, yeah, that's it. So this is what I, wow, okay. Spoke for 1 hour and 22 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh, that's a long time. Oh my God, I need to drink some water. So that is what it is for what is AI from a spiritual perspective. And I'm going to wrap up this video here. Okay. I hope it is making sense to you. Please drop a comment below to let me know how you feel about it. Give it a thumbs up so I know that you've watched the video. All right. And I really appreciate your support, love, and patience and participation. I really appreciate that. And I hope to see you in the next one. Okay. Bye-bye.